Hi, everybody. This is Joe.
And this is Lisa.
And welcome to your cheap date for October 7th, 2006.
That's Cheap Date, the show that asks the question,
what's red and really expensive?
I don't know, a red Corvette.
A little red Corvette?
Yeah. A red, that's disturbing. A red
Lisa doesn't
Porsche
like my prints.
Spider.
There you go. No. It's Mario Batali's new line of cookware at Crate & Barrel.
Is this a commercial?
That's right. Last weekend, when we were downtown, there's a huge Crate & Barrel store.
When we were downtown getting engaged.
Getting engaged, in case there's any question. Listen to that, another airplane. You know, I'm going to open this for a little ambiance. Hold on.
Dude, we are flush with ambiance. What are you doing?
As it were. Maybe we should go outside and record this. It's a nice evening here in the greater Chicagoland area.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
There's a huge Crate & Barrel store. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, what would you call it? It's like a housewares, cookware, whatever kind of store.
It's furniture and cookware.
Yeah. And Chef Mario Batali has introduced a whole line of cookware, all of it red, of course.
Of course.
And enameled. And he...
and much of it meant for Italian food, like big, like... He has this, like, 5-inch deep lasagna pan. I do kind of want that.
That's cool.
You could do, like a 6-layer lasagna in that.
That's true. And they had that really cool... what was it? They had that really cool...
Oh, that panini griller?
Yeah, panini griller. It was like a cast iron pan.
Square,
with red enamel on it. And then it had a big, heavy-duty... If it were larger, you would call it a lid. I guess you would call it a press.
It's a press. It's a lid, except that it fits down inside the pan, so you heat the whole thing at once. Well, it's like sort of a primitive George Foreman, actually.
Uh-huh.
Because both sides had grill ridges on them. You heat the whole thing. You throw your panini bread in there. Whatever.
That you bought with your ATM card.
Hush. You throw your whatever it is you want to grill in there, and then you put the top down on it.
Mm-hmm. And then...
If you're having trouble envisioning this, just Google it.
Sorry.
The sponge isn't actually meant to absorb moisture, Joe.
Sorry, guys. So anyway, yeah, so we saw that. We did not buy any of that stuff. But they do have a whole line of stuff. And for example, there's I forgot what the panini pan costs, but there's a pizza pan that they sell, which is a pretty heavy-duty pizza pan. It's $60. $60 for a pizza pan?
You could order a pizza for that.
So as a matter of fact, we actually used a pizza pan that I got at my local Target about 5 years ago.
It did fine.
Two for $8, something like that.
Yeah, we made pizza. Well, you skipped the part about buying the pizza materials.
Well, we were segueing into that.
Oh, sorry.
Because in addition to the cookware that Crate & Barrel sells, they also now sell a pizza dough mix and pizza sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And so we bought that. We decided to these are not Mario Batali branded, by the way. They're sold under the brand Bella Cucina. And it's $10 for the pizza dough mix and $16 for this pizza sauce. But there's a lot of sauce, and it's really, really good sauce.
It's 2 or 3 pizzas worth of sauce.
Anyway, so we made this. We went out, bought some fresh mozzarella and some pepperoni, and we made homemade pizza from the kit for the kids the other night.
Yeah, it was fun.
You didn't tell us about the dough, because you're the one who actually...
Okay.
You're the one who sort of masterminded this whole thing.
The dough kit came with powdered dough mix and a separate packet of yeast. The yeast had to proof at 105 degrees, which is...
Centigrade?
No.
Oh.
That would be above boiling and basically impossible.
Okay. Listen to that. Someone else is going on vacation, or perhaps on a business trip.
Probably a business trip.
That's true. They're probably flying off to Des Moines or something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Continue.
The yeast had to proof at 105 degrees, and which, I don't know, lent an air of authenticity to the whole thing. And then I just had to mix in the dough mix and knead it and then let it rise for... Is that right? The yeast had to proof?
Yes.
Okay.
It proofed before you added the flour and stuff.
And then the dough had to rise for an hour. So, I mean, it was a pretty authentic dough. I have had just as good made in a bread machine with the bread machine recipe.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing about this dough is that it didn't have any particular seasoning in it that made it any better than any other basic pizza dough recipe. So, I have to say, I think we could do just as well on our own.
We probably could.
Making that from scratch.
And actually, they give you instructions on how to make this stuff in a bread machine. Did they not? I thought they did.
No, they gave you instructions for if you were using one of those electric mixers with a dough hook.
Oh, a dough hook.
Instead of kneading.
Dough hook.
But I kneaded.
You did. You kneaded well.
Then, after the dough had risen, I rolled it out onto, I'm guessing, a 14-inch round pizza pan.
Yeah, it was about a 14.
Which I had coated in olive oil. And I didn't use a rolling pin because the dough spread so easily, but that was a mistake because it ended up being twice as thick in the center as it was on the edges. I should have used a rolling pin. And also, it didn't... You mentioned later we should have sprinkled the bottom with cornmeal, and that would have created more of the crust texture I was after.
Yeah.
Coating with olive oil is more of that's how you get a good deep dish. If you want a good thin crust, cornmeal is a better way to go.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't that thrilled with the crust. The sauce is fantastic.
Right. They call it Pomodoro pizza sauce, and it has whole peeled Italian tomatoes, tomato paste, fresh garlic, sugar, of course, herbs and spices, and you know what? It's amazing.
It's very good.
We have some left over, in fact, and there's the jar sitting in the fridge. So Lisa laughs whenever I go in and I open up the jar and I take a piece of string cheese and then dip it in there and
like carrots and dip, only with 1,000,000 grams of fat
and a kabillion more calories. So that was really good. And you can actually order this stuff over the internet, so we'll have a link up and you can take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff. In fact, since we have some of the sauce left, maybe I should run over and get another one of those dough mix things.
Yeah, or really we should just look up a recipe for making pizza dough.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's nothing to it. All that was in this dough recipe was like flour and salt, and I added olive oil and water and yeast. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to it at all.
That's true. So that's good. So Chicago-style pizza made in our own home. I don't even know if you call it Chicago-style. I don't think there is such a thing as Chicago-style.
It was made in Chicago, so it's
that's
Chicago-style.
True. Exactly. Now, we go from Chicago to the land down under, don't we?
Yay.
We'd like to...
Can we put in some Timey Kangaroo Down Sport?
Oh, we probably could.
Music? Okay, good. I love that song.
Really?
I love it, and I once bought a record that just because it had that song on it, and it also had a really neat folk version of Sloop John B.
Really? Mm-hmm. Also by Rolf Harris, the guy who did Timey Kangaroo Down Sport? My Boomerang Won't Come Back. Is that the same song?
My Boomerang Won't Come Back. Timey Kangaroo Down Sport, I think you're right about Rolf Harris on that, but I don't think he did Sloop John B. Well, Sloop John B is a traditional song. Everyone and his brother has done it. It's just that the Kingston Trio and the Beach Boys have the most famous versions. Yeah, and this was by, I want to say, like, the Four Brothers or something. Okay. The record. The Four Brothers, the Three Henchmen, the Two... All right, never mind. You know what? I bought the record for 50 cents, and I thought it was quite a find. Anyway, we have a box that came to us from our bestest friend ever in the world, Rachael, in Australia. What do we have here? This. We have a beer can cozy. Oh, yeah. It says Australia on it. It has a map of Australia with all of the provinces Well, all of the abbreviations for the provinces.
Queensland.
But you can figure them out. Western Australia, is this in the Northern Territories?
Probably. New South Wales.
Southern Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and Tasmania.
There you go.
We're now experts on Australian geography.
In fact, I'm going to put my bottle of Ice Mountain water in this little cozy right now to keep it nice and chilled while we're doing our
Not
cast.
a beer can. We have some coasters with Australian wildlife on them. Kangaroos, echidna, crocodiles, koalas. Very cool. They're like road signs. They're really cool. Okay, and then the reason we're really here is what Joe wanted was these Arnotts Mint Slice chocolate biscuits.
Oh,
now,
yes.
Am I correct in thinking that biscuits means cookies?
That is correct.
They don't
what
mean
they call
biscuits the way we think of biscuits.
People who speak the Queen's English refer to biscuits as what we call cookies, they call biscuits.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to verify. Some Australian-themed Cadbury chocolate. Collect all 12 furry friends. And we have the koala, and I can't tell what all these other animals are. It'll be easier to tell when this thing's opened.
Yeah.
So let's dive into these mint slices.
Oh, we also got a couple of other Cadbury.
Well, yeah, other stuff. A Nestle Violet Crumble. I'm not familiar with that.
Never had one of those.
An Arnott's Tim Tam. I have to admit, I broke into one of these, and it was like a little...
graham cracker.
Yeah, it was like a chocolate-covered graham cracker. Kind of lighter than a graham cracker.
Very, very good. And probably very good with coffee or tea, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a caramello koala.
Oh,
I'll take this.
you're going to have to wrestle me for that one, pal.
Okay,
And there was also a...
I can smell that.
There's also a Cadbury Crunchy as well, which I already ate.
Where did that go?
I ate it. So anyway, we're now diving into Rachel's Arnotts Mint Slices.
Joe's had these before, but I have not.
The chocolate-covered mint patty cookies. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a cross between a thin mint and a peppermint patty.
Mm-hmm.
It's a minty chocolate cookie topped with a mint cream, just like in a peppermint patty. And then the whole shebang is dunked in chocolate.
Right. Now, I've had similar cookies like this here in the States. Biscuits. Bickies, as they call them here in the States. But nothing that tastes like this. The chocolate is like real chocolate. The mint is like real heavy. Well, it says pure mint oil on the box, so on the package.
Well, there you have it.
There you go. So thank you, Rachel, for these. You have two very grateful people here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We, in return, sent Rachel a care package from Chicago, including... Well, I don't think we should say anything because she might hear this before she gets the package. Although she should actually have the package by now. By the time this show comes out, she should have it, but we'll tell you next time what we sent her. But we did send her something in return, favorites from Chicago and the United States as well. So we think she'll enjoy that.
And by the way, we would be happy to do junk food exchanges with anyone, domestic or abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you have that's local or that you think is local, send it to us.
And it doesn't even have to be junk food. It can be something regional.
It could be something healthy, I guess.
We have people in the South, perhaps some divinity, people in Canada, perhaps, some maple syrup. I don't know.
Moose jerky.
There you go. But anyway.
These are amazing.
This could be a new feature of us, the food exchange. The food exchange portion of the Cheap Dick
people,
Show.
This is the magic of the internet. This is the magic of globalization. We assume that everybody in the world, I assume that everybody in the world eats M&Ms and Snickers and Doritos and Pepsi, and that may or may not be true. I don't know, for instance, if people in Australia are aware that we have no way of getting mint slices, and they're heavenly.
That's true. We have a lot of import shops here. We can get stuff from all over the world, but I've never seen these particular cookies here in the United States.
The stuff that might seem very everyday and routine to you might be very exotic to us.
Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, we can't send you like White Castle hamburgers or McDonald's fries. Not that you would want that anyway, but...
Or Chicago pizza or Portillo's hot dogs.
Precisely.
Ah, Joe. Lisa, your table's ready. Come this way. Lovely weather we're having, isn't it? It's a shame about those Cubs. I just can't believe they lost that game.
Thank you, Daryl.
He's a heck of a guy.
I'm
Daryl Cognito, the podcast bandito, as they call him. Or as he calls himself.
I'm a bit disappointed to... Well, not disappointed, but I hope Daryl's not disappointed to hear that he has just participated in, so far, and probably forever, the greatest call to the table scam ever.
Really?
Because where are we today? How low have we sunk, Joe?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna couch this by saying this was actually a listener request. Listener Ross from
blame it on Ross.
Minnesota.
How
from
convenient.
the princely Twin Cities in Minnesota, USA, has requested that we take a visit to the Golden Arches. But not just any Golden Arches. I'm sorry, am I making this too dramatic?
You should. I would have let that sink in a little bit. Yes, we're at McDonald's.
We're at McDonald's, but not just any McDonald's.
But of course, there's a catch.
The catch is that we did this, of course, the weekend we got engaged.
The day we got engaged.
That's true. But Lisa had no idea. We were sitting there in the restaurant. I had the ring in my pocket while we were doing this.
You could have proposed to me at the Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Well, here's the thing. They had this for years. There was a McDonald's at the corner of LaSalle and Ohio in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Very, very busy intersection. A main artery. Actually, it's on Ohio and Ontario, which are the two main arteries in and out of the city of Chicago that lead right to all the expressways, or two of the main arteries, but two pretty serious ones, in LaSalle Street, which is a very busy street. There's also a bunch of touristy restaurants over there. There's a Planet Hollywood used to be. Hard Rock's right there, Rainforest Cafe. There's a Portillo's across the street, which would be my druthers. But for years, there was a McDonald's there, and it was just a plain old whatever McDonald's. And then they started putting rock and roll paraphernalia in the place. Mm-hmm. And paraphernalia being things like records and posters of concerts, and you had like pictures of the Supremes and the Beatles and all that. Mm-hmm. And they added more and more stuff. It was still just like a regular McDonald's. Like they had all this stuff in cases on the walls, and then they got a car. It's like a T-Bird, I think, that they pulled in, and then they stuck. It's kind of funny because they stuck these two mannequins in there that looked kind of like Archie and Veronica, only they changed the color of their hair, they changed their faces because maybe they didn't want to have a copyright violation or something.
Oh, that's funny.
And it ultimately, probably about 15, 20 years ago, became known as the Rock and Roll McDonald's. There was really nothing rock and roll about it. It was just a McDonald's in the middle of a tourist section. It was kind of run down, and I mean, I would go there for lunch sometimes just because it was McDonald's, and I'm not a huge fan of McD's. Anyway, a few years ago, they decided to tear it down and put a show place up there. For some reason, people still call it the Rock and Roll McDonald's, but actually, about 2% of the stuff that of the paraphernalia they put into like a little outhouse, or a little outbuilding.
Not an outhouse, an outbuilding.
And then the McDonald's itself is this 2-level thing that the design is very similar to the original McDonald's restaurants with the golden arches and the slanted roof and a lot of glass and stuff like that. The original McDonald's hamburger stands, the ones that they had when I was a very small child. Mm-hmm. Only it's on 2 levels, and there's nothing rock and roll about it. No,
but it's very cool. Like, if you were growing up in the 80s, this is what you thought McDonald's would be like in 2006. Like, all this crazy plasma TVs everywhere, and different music playing in different areas, and all this cool, like, loungy furniture.
Yeah, loungy furniture, not like plastic.
Some standard McDonald's furniture, and like these long curvy bars with bar stools, but also some like loungy furniture, like coffee level coffee tables.
You totally hang out in there.
Yeah, you really could. More like energized than a Panera or something, like brighter colors and brighter light, but really comfy decor and really modern decor.
Right.
And then they have kind of a museum walkthrough of every decade, starting with the 50s, and they have all the McDonald's stuff, like
bags
the McDonald's,
and cups.
bags and cups and uniforms and menus and what prices were and stuff, and also other pop culture
references,
things,
pet
memorabilia
rocks,
from each decade,
Nintendo NES controllers,
from the
floppy
50.
disks,
har,
and of course pictures of Ray Kroc and whatnot.
Right, and kind of it's a little bit about the about how McDonald's grew, but it's also just kind of a little pop culture museum.
And it's actually very cool.
There's actually a lot of McDonald's heritage right here.
McDonald's is based right here in Oak Brook, Illinois.
There,
Hamburger University is right.
There's
in
also
Oak
that
Grove
wall
Village.
with all the different global McDonald's, and there is kind of a global McDonald's theme. The different
the trash
cans all say thank you in a different language.
Right.
So that's kind of neat. So it's actually, I don't know, it's cool. I would say if you're in Chicago, especially if you have little kids,
they dig it.
who might be wowed by a McDonald's with an escalator.
A 2-story escalator. Yeah, 2-story McDonald's.
Then it would be fun.
It's a neat little touristy thing. We had to go in just to say we had to go in, and because, of course, Ross requested it.
No point even discussing what we had.
Well, the food, it's the same food as that every McDonald's has. However, on the second floor, don't forget,
I have not forgotten.
they have a coffee and gelato bar. They have all the syrups lined up that you can get. You can get various espressos and cappuccinos and whatnot. And then they had a huge case with gelato in it, which is a wonderful idea.
But,
and the thing was, so as we were getting ready, after we did a little tour, we looked at all the little stuff, and then we walked out. We got the gelato. What was it? Mint chocolate chip? Is that what we got?
Cookie dough.
Cookie dough. So we got cookie dough, gelato. And then we went down the escalator, and we walked around outside. We started walking towards... Here's where this picks up with our last show. Okay, as we were walking towards going to find a taxi to get into a cab to go to the Museum of Science and Industry, and it started raining. Right before it started raining, that's where you're at right now in the story.
Right.
See, so it's like the puzzle. You can put
Got
little
it. You
pieces
can make a
together.
timeline.
Exactly.
You can follow along at home.
So as we were walking down the street eating this, I turned to Lisa and I said... This gelato is surprisingly flavorless.
You said unsatisfying.
Unsatisfying, that's the word.
Because usually gelato is so rich that you only need about 2 bites of it.
Right.
And this was not even like the better ice cream we've had.
No. So we were a little disappointed by that.
It was, if you can imagine, McDonald's level gelato. I mean, it was better than their soft serve.
Right. Well, I think that's someone coming home.
Oh, okay.
That's a guy coming in from Winnipeg. That sounds like an Air Canada plane to me.
45 minutes late.
But anyway, so it was unsatisfying. So from that standpoint, it was sort of so. But you know what? It was McDonald's. You can't really. How can you rag on McDonald's? You know, I guess you could. People do it all the time. But
people do.
So anyway, anything else we needed to say about that? So that was the big. You can't. People still refer to it as the Rock and Roll McDonald's, and there's nothing rock and roll about it anymore, other than the car. They still have the car with the ersatz Archie and Veronica, and the statues. The statue of John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
You know what, though? In fairness, it's not any worse than a Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Hard Rock Cafe, you go, you pay $12 for a cheeseburger because there's cool stuff on the walls.
But you can also buy a Hard Rock thong on the way out the door.
I'll get you a McDonald's thong.
Okay, cool. Let's work on that.
That's true. No merchandise at this one.
That's true. So anyway, so that is the quote-unquote rock and roll.
We don't have a new name for it yet.
McDonald's in downtown Chicago. Aw. We should thank everybody for all of the lovely, lovely little comments they've made to us.
We have some thank yous to hand out. First to everyone regarding our very, very happy news.
The voicemails, the emails, the phone calls.
Yeah.
It's been great. You guys have all been really wonderful, and we appreciate your wonderful sentiments and all your good wishes to us. So thanks to that. Thanks to you guys.
We're very happy. We'll try not to bore you with wedding planning news.
You know what? We promise we won't.
Although, really, there's not going to be that much to plan.
No. It's going to be a very simple... We decided on a very simple ceremony. There will be no podcasting or any recording of any kind at the event. It's going to be a very nice, private affair. And
You're going to have a little pocket recorder in your pocket, aren't you?
No. Sorry. Some things are meant to be left private.
Lisa, could you lean a little closer when you...
A little closer to my boutonniere? I do. No, there will be none of that. We'll make a point of that. So.
Okay.
What else? Oh, and also we wanted to thank everyone for voting for us. We won the best food, beer... Yeah, it was like this food category for the Podcast Peers Award. So we want to thank everybody who voted for us. We were up against some other very, very good podcasts, and we won. So thank you for that. We're honored. It's an honor to be awarded that. Awarded that award. It's like a momentous moment. We were awarded the award. So we'll be back with soon. One more time.
In a week, probably.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week with some more fun, another review. We'll probably go to a real restaurant, so don't be put off by... If this is the first time you're listening to the show, don't be put off by the fact, oh my God, they did a review of McDonald's. How lame. Worry not of that, because that's not... we'll be at a more legitimate type of restaurant, shall we say.
Yes.
And
preferably one where we do have to get called to the table, since that's part of our shtick.
Yeah, it's true. But anyway, we'd like to, again, thank everyone for that. If you want to send us a guest review, comments, or anything else, Lisa, how do they get a hold of us?
Dish at cheapdateshow.com.
Okay. Or what else can they do?
Or they can log on to... Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, you can't... No.
You don't...
Can we put a moratorium on that? You don't log on...
I put a moratorium on that years ago, Joe, and I just slipped, all right? Sue me. You can direct your internet browser... Links does work, by the way.
Yes, we determined that.
Direct your internet browser to cheapdateshow.com. Even if you're using links, you shouldn't have to type in the HTTP part. And leave us a comment.
That's right. You can also call our listener comment line at 206-203-3283.
Yeah, if you're really old-fashioned.
Yeah, if you just want to do it that way. Or, if you're listening in the car and you're driving along and you want to make a comment, you can just dial us up.
You should really pull over to the side of the road at a safe juncture and... No, just do it now.
Come on, you want to do it. No, look, you got like 4 car lengths between you and the guy in front of you. Just slow down a little bit. Look down. Oh, look up. Oh, look. Oh, look.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Well, thanks
all
again
right,
for listening,
I'm
going to
go call our lawyer.
Okay. And I'm gonna finish up these mint slices. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Good night.
This podcast is proudly listed at podcastpickle.com.
But once you get married, who do you hang out with? Single people, edgy people, people like Dana? No, once you get married, you hang with other married couples. Wow. Down. What are we doing tonight, honey? Going out with another married couple? Wild. Don't. I'll drive to save gas. Edgy idea, Bob. Don't. We're here, guys in the front, gals in the back. Sandals with socks, yeah. I got a fanny pack full of coupons. Hey. Let's go to Home Depot and look at tile.